All right, so let's hop in. So, we like to call this 6 AI tools in 60 minutes, but it's really going to be 6 plus. So we're going to talk a little deeper about a few of them, but I'm going to show you some new stuff that is either we just partnered with or some new things that have just been released that you can take a look at as well. So I always like to start this, even though some of you I'm sure have seen this before. This quote from Sundar Pichai: AI is one of the most important things humanity is working on and more profound than electricity or fire. I think that that's a little bit of an overstatement. That came from Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. But I do like to liken it to the steam engine, right? The locomotive and a real, logarithmic growth in a level of productivity. So not necessarily moving from the Stone Age, but definitely moving from the horse and buggy to the locomotive, and then maybe even to the electric car. Everyone else's other favorite question is AI going to replace realtors? And, did the internet replace realtors? Did getting rid of the book replace realtors? Absolutely not, right? You guys add so much value to the transaction every day. You're therapist for your consumers, you're helping buyers, you're able to see all sorts of things and compile all that information and institutional knowledge, and then you add in the law and all of those amazing things that I really think that no, realtors are not going to get replaced, but a realtor who does use AI is going to be able to outperform you every day of the week. I know we have some people here with us from around the country, and I'm so happy to see that. Good to see you, Steve Reese. Uh, so Miami Realtors is nationally recognized as being a leader in AI for our members. We identified pretty early on that people wanted to be able to use these amazing tools. And so we just wanted to make sure that we were able to answer this question: is AI safe? So, there's challenges, right? And this continues to grow every day. And it's still being sorted out in the courts. We can talk about whether this government will be pro or anti. I think that's still remaining to be seen, but I think it is very business friendly. And so I think that copyright challenges are going to be less of an issue for the next few years. But that said, listen, these lawsuits are still getting filed. So you still need to be very mindful of what you're using that AI generates as you are putting out content. So here's what we do for our members. And I think it's something that any association or MLS can do, or a broker can do as well, is as you bring in these AI tools to use, or you start to use them as an agent, just think about these things. And this is what we look at as we identify products. We want to look at them in terms of usage, make sure that there's plagiarism checkers. We do a deep contract review for those types of protections. We always look at fair housing. And we just want to make sure that these are going to be safe to use. And that, of course, does also include copyright. The other thing you really want to be aware of is data privacy. Anything that you put into a large language model could be pulled into the big master model, right? The things that have been educating it. Yes, they've been educated by the internet for however many years. And people are adding documents and books and encyclopedias and all of those things. But we also know that some of these engines are pulling in the data that's going in. So even if they say that they're not, and I don't want to say that anyone's lying, and I'm not going to talk about a specific company here, you shouldn't be putting personally identifiable information in there, right? So you can put in a financial spec sheet, but you shouldn't include personal financial records that can be linked to your clients or to yourself. And so you want to make sure that all of that type of stuff is anonymized, or you shouldn't be putting it in at all. You should also be reviewing things for accuracy, right? We know that artifacts are created by artificial intelligence every single day. And so whether it is making up information, or it is interpreting information incorrectly, or using old information, Google now, gives you these little AI insights for whatever you're looking for. And usually the information is from like 2 releases ago. And that was just me trying to set up a printer. So anything that you put out, you should really be double checking for accuracy. I think it's really great if you want to punch up some of your own writing or grab a piece of information, but really, like, trust but verify, I think, is a good way to approach this. All right, so I'm going to start with ChatGPT, and then we're going to talk about a couple other ChatGPT tools because people are building tools on top of that all the time. So I'm sure you guys are all using some version of ChatGPT today, but we'll hop in with that. And it's okay to start with the free version. I think that's good. Make sure that it's an experience that you like. So this is a nice example of something that you can do that I think is pretty, there's not a lot of danger here, but you can get a lot of bang for your buck, which is nothing. It's just your time, right? So I asked it, can you create a LinkedIn style post? So that means it's more business friendly. It's very clearly written, and they do it so it optimizes for whatever platform you say it's for. So it will likely get boosted more. And I asked it to discuss how landscaping can increase a home's value. And it gave me a ton of information. What I liked about it is, yes, some of these things I obviously knew, right? First impressions increase property value. But I don't think I really thought about privacy and noise reduction myself. Um, so listen, like anything else, it's going to give you things that you like and things that you don't like. You should use what you can and leave the rest. And again, you can edit this if you think something isn't accurate or could be said better, or perhaps it's not appropriate for the geographical area you're working in. One, you can tell ChatGPT, hey, listen, this does not make sense in Miami. We don't grow those types of trees or whatever, and ask it something else and ask it to enhance it. And it's happy to do that as well, and it'll update the response. Here's another one. How can I detect and remediate mold in a home? And I asked it to cite sources. In general, ChatGPT does a better job when you ask it to cite sources. It goes a little bit further. It also has something new called deep research that's part of the paid version that gives a much more comprehensive piece, and you can generate a PDF document out of it as well that's shareable. Again, are you going to be the mold remediation person? Are you certified in that? Absolutely not. You're not certified in a lot of things that we give some advice on, but then we also say you should seek professional counsel. And so I think that this is a good way that you can value add to your clients, and you can work with them to be the source of the source. Yes, when ChatGPT talks about snow prep, yeah, it's not always good, but it doesn't always know where you are. You don't need to be on video for this class. This is not a CE class, so you can listen. You can be on camera. You can not be on camera. That's up to you. Okay. I like to think of it as a coach, right? As realtors, we're all independent contractors, and so sometimes it can feel really lonely. And there's lots of people selling coaching. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay for it, but maybe you could take a look at what's out there and see what you can do for free. So here's an example of something I asked it. I am a new realtor and I hate cold calling. What do the best real estate coaches recommend to get over this and be successful? And it gives you some really good ideas here, right? Use your sphere, build an online presence, etc. And you can ask it to drill into any of these, how do I build an online presence? Can you build an online presence for me? What else should I do? So you can continue to have this conversation with it, and it will generate those pieces. All right, so let's hop over to, we're actually going to go into an app here called Sidekick AI. The Sidekick AI is a company Miami partnered with almost a year ago. They're based in San Francisco. They're started by a brokerage. It is on your Miami dashboard if you are a Miami member down here. And Sidekick has access to all of the Miami multiple listing service data. So thank you, Connie, for dropping the link in there. So I'm going to run through the conversation that I had. So actually, if you first log into Sidekick, it will give you a whole bunch of prompts of things it can do, but it's also just a ChatGPT wrapper. So all those things that I just asked ChatGPT, you could ask it in Sidekick. And Sidekick has all those fair housing things built into it as those guardrails, privacy protection, et cetera. So it's already thinking about real estate the way we would try to think about real estate. But what I started with is I said, can you create a CMA presentation for me? Because it's one of the cool things Sidekick does, and it does it really well. So please provide a full address. So I gave it an address for listing in the MLS, and Miami has weird addresses. So it had two that it thought it was, and I said, "Which one is it?" And I said, "It's the first one." This all took me a few minutes. Sidekick is not free. I believe it is $25 a month, which is almost the same as what ChatGPT is, but it does a lot more. Um, so I said, "Can you create a CMA for similar properties?" And I had it filter the similar properties. It gave me some examples, and I didn't really like them because it gave me condos and I was looking at a single family home. So I said, "Hey, can you just only include SFH?" So it speaks real estate, guys. It speaks our acronym. Oh, we have a 30-day free trial right now. Awesome. So here are the ones that suggested, right? So three similar properties. And I said, "Great, can you prepare a CMA for these for a listing presentation?" And so then what it did is it created this PDF. So, and it's very nice looking, very slick. It's branded to me. If you were a realtor, it would be branded to you as well. You can set up all your branding in Sidekick. And I can say I'm preparing it for a person, so I can have all this customized. So this is the first property. This is my subject property. And then it has a nice, simple, easy to read comparison of these other three. So, again, straightforward, easy to use. And I will say this is a very young company. They are asking for feedback constantly. So, like, I'm looking at this, and the one thing I would really like to see on this is price per square foot. That's just my math mind. I love that, and I feel like it's a nice space. So, and then it does a nice map for you. So again, it can enhance these and do some other things. So let's go back over here. So then it gave me a whole bunch of prompts after this. And so when I said, okay, the one I picked was, what negotiation strategies can I use to convince the seller to lower the price? So it'll give me some suggestions there. Can you give me some market insights on comp sales in the South Miami area? So, and it said it couldn't identify South Miami as a neighborhood. It's missing that piece of the conversation here. Did I mean South Miami, the city? And I said yes, and it specified it. So, yes, was that an extra step? Yes, but it's learning constantly and it gets better every single time I use it. So, and you can have it hide these suggestions, but you can also, I find these very helpful. So, I can ask it now, okay, well, what's because it's ChatGPT, I could ask it what the weather is. What is the weather in this area? Well, I'd have to click on the screen. Okay, we're doing this live. Never know what's going to happen. Okay, can't get real-time data, but it tells me where I can go. So it's much more focused on real estate, but you can play with it, and it's got lots of those things in here. Um, So kind of gives you an idea of what you can do. What's nice is because now that they're doing this 30-day free trial, which I think is great, you can play with it, right? And see if you like it and you want to use it. The other thing that Sidekick does is that it's really nice is it will plug into Google Suite. So if you use Google Suite as your main email calendar and everything, you can have it set up an appointment. You can have it send an email. It will have access to your contact. So I have a question in the chat. Do you use Sidekick for any MLS in the country, or is it just geared towards Miami? So there are other MLSs that they have partnered with. So it just depends on where you're a member. So I believe they are live with San Francisco and with Claw in Los Angeles. And I know that they're adding new markets all the time. So I think that's a really great thing that you could bring to your MLS and say, hey, these guys are partnered and they seem to do a really good job. They understand real estate. They're absolutely not trying to disintermediate the realtor, which a lot of the, cool AI tools I see out there are like, hey, this is how you can do a FISBO, et cetera. That's not what this is. This is to make realtors more productive. All right, I'm going to flip back over. Okay, so this is another product that we partnered with. It is called Kubicasa. Kubicasa is available to anybody. Anybody can go to kubi.casa. That is their website. There is no .com, and use this tool. It is unbelievably easy. If you are not putting floor plans on your properties, you are doing a disservice to your client. Or if you are a buyer's agent and working with a buyer and they go, God, I wish this had a floor plan. I'd really like to see this layout. I'm having trouble visualizing. You can do this. You can do this while they are checking out how much closet space there is. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to play a video and hopefully you don't really need the audio, but it shows how straightforward it is to scan. You bring this up on your phone, you walk around. This is what it looks like on your phone. It says scan the property. You basically focus in on the wall. It tells you when you're too close. It uses the LiDAR in your phone to measure everything. And the measurements are very, very close. They are not quite builder grade. I think the free version, they're not builder grade, but you can pay the upgrade and then the calculations are. It is very, very cool. You walked around. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I do have it playing. Oh no, down. Go to double speed. There we go. So it finishes the scan, it uploads it, and you get an email in about 15, 20 minutes with your floor plan. And I'll show you what that looks like. You get an email like this. You get an email that takes you to your dashboard as a Kubicasa user. Super straightforward. Gives you your floor plan. I mean, it measures, and look at the measurements it has. And this is the free version. I didn't pay anything for this. And you can download these. You can download different versions of the floor plan and change the style. So you can use this, you know, oh, maybe I want to do a little renovation after I move in. And you can use these measurements and say, oh, I'm going to move the toilet over and move the sink and add a shower and those types of things. Again, I think this is just a huge value add, absolutely for listing agents, but definitely for buyers agents as well. So very, very easy to use. I was blown away. We've heard from our members how much they love this, and this was like a whole other level. So, and for $35, you can get the CAD file if that's something that you need. So big, big fan of that. And you're like, well, is this an AI tool? Absolutely. Artificial intelligence, because these rooms, I didn't label them. You don't have to label them and go in. You can relabel them if it's labeled them wrong. But yeah, it identified that there was a wood stove in the property and a fireplace. It saw that there was a little platform here that's brick. I mean, really specific little architectural pieces. I thought it did a really, really good job. So, you know, it labeled again, walk-in closet, hallway, etc. So I thought it's really, really pretty impressive. And again, it's one of those, and this is really true for all AI tools. The day that you use them is like the worst day they're ever going to be, and they keep getting better and better and better. I didn't use a specific LiDAR for iPhone. I will tell you, I have an iPhone. I think it's a 14, 2 years old. So you don't need to know the use one. The Plus package. So as a Miami member, I think you get access to this for free as part of our membership. But if we go to, let me hop back over to my presentation. The light version is free. So there you go. So I always say there's more tools announced every day. We're going to keep going, but don't feel like you have to be, you're behind, because honestly, everybody's behind. I get a whole bunch of tools emailed to me every single day. All right. Everyone here should be a National Association of Realtors member. And so that means you have access to RPR. RPR is great for lots of reasons. It has tons of property data, tax data, area data that's available to you. It's great for commercial, it's great for residential, but they latched on to scriptwriter early on. And again, this has gotten better and better. So when you log into RPR, you ask it for residential market trends. And so you can choose an area, you can choose the property type here. I said single family and condos, and it's a script writer. So you can choose a tone, professional, friendly, collegiate, etc. And you can choose an audience, buyers, buyers, and sellers. And you can either have it build a social campaign, analyze metrics, or create a video script. So I asked it to create a video script and it cranks right through here. And here we go. Again, it brands it to you. Hi, it introduces you, etc. Now, here's the thing. If I didn't want to be on camera, I could just do this as an overlay to a presentation, or I could upload it to one of the AI video tools. There's lots of them. There's, again, new ones coming out every day that either use your image or a generic model image to present what that would be. So here you can copy the script, you can send it by email, you can pull the script out and modify it, but it does a really, I want to, oh, here we go. I mean, here it talks about months of supply. And so it really breaks it down and it says, oh, what does that mean? Well, it's a measure of how long it would take existing homes on the market to sell. We get really stuck sometimes with being in real estate of, we assume everybody speaks the same language that we do, right? Months of supply, days on market, why are those important? And so again, it really clarifies that in simpler terms, it's an indicator of market demand and supply. And guess what? Over the last 12 months, we've seen a 2.5% decrease in the months of supply inventory, right? And that's great news. And it goes on to say this. So again, this is RPR, this is free. You have this, you've had this for a while, and it has gotten like everything better and better. Okay, virtual staging, love it or hate it. Sometimes you need it, right? Because you just cannot picture what that room is going to be. I like this product. This company came to us. It was a cold email. We were the first group to partner with them. Virtual Staging AI.app. They were built out of Harvard labs, and it was a student who came to us. And if you go to their website, everyone gets a free picture for free, a picture for free. So you can upload a single photo and you can stage it multiple ways for free. Everybody gets one. And then other than that, they're very reasonably priced. Again, as a Miami member, you do get a discount on this. But here I can stage these as different rooms, and then I can also change the style, right? So, coastal, farmhouse. Everybody loves farmhouse still, right? We could do something that's more modern. So this is very, very cool. And obviously these are the ones that are saved in here, but if we did this live, it would render in about 30 to 60 seconds. So I like it because, sometimes you have that, oh, what is it going to be room, right? And so you can turn the same room into a living room, or you could turn it into an office. Obviously, these are different rooms, but it will restage the same room if you want to. What does it look like as a bedroom versus a home gym, etc. And it's a very, very cool tool. Is it the best home staging tool out there? I think it's the best home staging tool for the price, right? And again, it's gotten better. When we first partnered with them, it did not have furniture removal. It has had multiple view staging since the beginning, which we've always been really happy with. So here it is walking through the same room in different pieces here. So really, really great partner. Yes, they were just recently acquired by another company. So we'll be adding another partner. Another one we work with is Style to Design. That is a little bit more high end. The nice thing with Style to Design is that you can buy the furniture that is staged in it. So I think that is also really cool. Okay, so our next product is Nyla June. So again, we talked about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is fine, right? Like 2 years ago, it was amazing and all of our minds were blown. But now it's like, well, is there something better? Yes, you can have ChatGPT write a listing description. And so I did that. And, I'll tell you, I didn't love the language that it used. And because it doesn't have all those fair housing rules and stuff, it will use the words in there that, we like to say you can't use on television and you certainly can't use in a listing. Um, and so this product built their own natural language processing engine. So it's called Nyla June. You only pay per listing. I believe it's $25 a listing, and I think it's 20 for Miami members. It's nylajune.com, and it's very straightforward. It's a TurboTax-like interface. Um, so you just kind of fill this out, right? Is it a house or a condo? And then it gives you information about it. You can say where it is. Is it part of a town? Is it part of a neighborhood you want to reference? And, there's a whole bunch of screens that'll ask you, is there very detailed? What are the floors made of? What's the style of the kitchen? Is there a fireplace? Is it brick? Is there a patio? Is it poured? Is it slate? Is it stamped concrete, etc.? And then it will lay it out into a really nicely written short and long version of the description. And again, like anything else, you can certainly edit this, but the language of this compared to, I think I still have it up. I did a property description in ChatGPT yesterday. Here we go. Can you write a listing description? So I just feel like these are not as well written, right? It refers to it as the specific square footage of the residence and when it was built. Like it doesn't actually talk about the property and living in it. It's, and it like the kitchen is equipped with modern appliances, including a dryer, microwave, range, refrigerator, and dishwasher. Well, one, that's usually the case. But two, it's weird that it has the washer and dryer, but it's even weirder that the washer and dryer aren't listed next to each other. Like I don't like this. And if maybe I'm not the average consumer, but to me, this doesn't like make sense for me. Some of these are nice, right? The way it has these exterior features, but I don't think that, it's as well written as what I have seen come out of Nyla June going through that same piece. So I think it's worth making the investment sometimes for a better product, particularly when you are, as a listing agent, really looking to showcase that. Now, if you love writing listing descriptions, more power to you, but not everybody does. And so I think it does this really, really well. So Chocolate Chip AI is another ChatGPT wrapper, just like Sidekick is, but it does not have access to the MLS data. But that said, it does do better image creation and social. So I asked it to help me write some things about buying a vacation property in Miami Beach and why you should do that. And so you can use this then for a social campaign. Again, you can ask the information to come out short, medium, long form, etc. And then what you can do is have it create some images for you to go with those social posts. And again, it will optimize those for wherever you're going to be posting them. So here I wanted something from the boat show with condos in the background. It was very specific and did a really nice job of it. I asked it to do a neighborhood walk around Coral Gables. Again, very nice job. But I asked it to give me a picture of the Coral Gables water tower. This is not the Coral Gables water tower. It is a water tower in the style of Coral Gables, but it's not a place that actually exists. You do want to be mindful of the images that you're using to make sure that they actually make sense. I asked it here for a boat on a lake at the sunset, and looks like somebody had some trouble parking the boat, and it put the boat on the dock, which I thought was hilarious. I did ask it to generate it again, and it did a really good job the second time it put the boat in the water. So listen, AI it's not perfect, right? It's still continuing to grow and evolve. So AI does lots of other things, right? We talked about natural language creation, right? And creating information, but artificial intelligence can also interpret voice and then speak back to us. And one way that it does this is a product called Finding Homes by Lundy. and that works on your Alexa. So lots of us have Alexas. You know, I call it the world's most expensive kitchen timer. Um, but you can do lots of other things with it as well. Now, this was originally written for those who are sight impaired. But, you know, if you are out driving, you know, we all have conversations with Siri when we're driving or have conversations with ChatGPT when we're driving now. You can have conversations with your Alexa app on your phone or on your television, and ask it to show you properties, and it will. So it has full access to the Miami MLS, and it will search it in English and Spanish. I also recommend putting a link to this on your website because we, in the past, this hasn't been something that's happened recently, had people come after us. They're kind of like the patent trolls, but these were accessibility trolls. And they were saying, oh, your website's not accessible. Here's a demand letter for a couple $1,000s. You know, if you have tools on there like this, you can say, hey, listen, no, we are absolutely site accessible because you can search the whole MLS with your voice using this product. Um, so, and that is a free member benefit for all Miami members, and it is linked on the dashboard. Okay, new product alert. So we just signed this contract. It has not launched yet, but I can still show it to you. So this product is called Infinity with an extra Y at the end. They are AI-enabled virtual tours. And when they first started out, I'll flip over here to them. When they first started out, they were really focused on the commercial, large multifamily, right? Because if you are managing a large multifamily, you get a lot of phone calls and emails and chat requests that say, can I have a pet? How many bathrooms are there? How big are the closets? Do the closets have organizers in them? And all those types of things. And so what they wanted to do, they wanted to solve for this, right? How can we be more efficient and use tools here? And for things like this, where you're answering the same questions over and over, artificial intelligence really makes sense. And so you can play with this now if you want to. This is an actual place that you can rent in California called Ventana Residences. It's in the Mission District in San Francisco. Um, and if you go there, you can see where it says here, begin AI experience. So if you do that, you come over here, it says, it asks you for your email address, and then it gives you some prompts to get you going, or I can just start having a conversation with it. You know, so I'll say here, what makes sense on the vessel. So it processes my inquiry and it's going to go through and answer. Now, as you guys know, if you have been people who've been using artificial intelligence, it's not always fast. Also, I loaded this a few minutes ago, so I think it might have gotten lost in here. So we will try. There we go. What amenities? What makes it special? Here we go. So in what nice with Infinity does is because you can load the virtual tour pieces and it has all of the information from all the text you upload, it gives you all of those things in here and it will walk people through. So I'm going to ask a new question. Do the closets have organizers? Okay, so it doesn't have all the answers. It should. It really should have information about closet features. I think that's very important. Um, and I think that that's something we can suggest. But again, like all tools, it only has the information accessible to it that you have provided to it. So what it will do is it will put that question now in here, and the team that runs this can now say, hey, that's an important question. Maybe we should add this. How do I get support? Something. Now it's actually connecting me to the leasing team. So again, like all things, it is a work in progress. So, but you can get an idea of all the things it can do, and this is what happens when you do a demo live. Um, but because the product was so popular with the multifamily and so easy to set up when they first launched this in Boston, the residential realtors said, hey, for higher end properties with lots of features, we would love to have this enabled as well. And so we are going to, people started using it just for single family properties. where you have, 123mainstreet.com and you're featuring it. So this will be a very cool product. We've just finished the contract and we're just finishing the integration with them with the MLS information. So they'll have access to the data that's in the MLS as well as part of your listing. And it should be launching probably around mid-April, which I guess is now this month because it's April 1st. Oh my gosh. We'll exit a potential crisis here. Would this work on social media? You could certainly put a link to it on social media to get to it. So, as I mentioned, listen, this landscape is constantly changing. 2 days, this is all the things that I got that came over. And listen, not every product that comes out is good. Not every product that comes out is safe. Do not feel like you have to learn how to use all of them. But we see these all the time. These get better all the time. I want to talk about this chat realtor. So one, they don't have permission to use the term realtor. So I believe that this one's actually been taken down already because realtor is a trademark term from the National Association of Realtors. You always need to still comply with whatever the existing laws are. So one of the laws that's in place today is that you cannot have an AI dialer cold call. You can have it make a phone call if someone has contacted you first because now you have a relationship, but you cannot just give it a whole bunch of numbers and have it call and have a conversation with them. So I talked with a company last week. It's called Eris AI, and they do look the way they built it out. They work with investors. They do wholesaling. Again, not here to comment on whether that's good or bad, but I talked with it with the AI, and it's very, very good. And so I think that we're going to see more of these AI dialers, but you just have to be cognizant that you cannot have them cold call. They have to have contacted you first and say, I'm interested in looking at property. I'm interested in selling my home, etc., before you do that and move forward. So these are just some places if you are interested in this, I really like the rundown.ai. They send a newsletter almost every day of the week with whatever's going on in AI. Today was all about how OpenAI's investment model is changing and they're moving to a for-profit. MiamiRealtors.com/AI has all of our partner AI tools there, as well as we go over all of those, rules and caveats that you should be aware of as you want to start using AI in your business. The Wave Group does lots of AI reviews. They do 1 or 2 a week, and they're all organized, real estate focused. And then, listen, Reddit, love it, hate it. It's nice because you get kind of opinions for everybody. And so I like their AI tool tracker as well. Those are the resources that I use when I'm looking for new things to do. So, listen, use AI. Absolutely. It will make you better and faster. But, be open and be cautious to it. I'm going to run back through. There were a couple things in the chat that I skipped because I was in the middle of talking about somewhere else. And I know Connie did an awesome job staying on top of this. Thank you so much. Does Nyla June already know the character limits for their mark fields in our MLS system? You know what? It does not, Bill, but that is a good idea, and I will send it to them because they love it when I send them feedback. Cubicasa is free or per month. Staging is per month, but you can turn it on and off if you're not using it. Let's see. Running back through here. Okay. Okay. So now I'm gonna stop sharing. Stop sharing. All right. There's all your beautiful faces. All right. Any other questions? Anybody have any tools that you use that you like today?
I have the quiz ready. If we want.
Okay, well, Kevin's got a quiz, which is fun.
Perfect. Give me a sec, everybody. Let me get this up and running.
Opus. Melanie uses Opus. I like that.
Okay, so yeah, just scan the QR code on the screen if you want to play, or you can just go to ahaslides.com/2NBLY. And the winner of today's quiz will either receive a YPN Pro money clip or a purse hanger, Miami YPN Pro purse hanger. We have one player. All right. We officially have a competition. More people can get in there. We had our biggest competition a few weeks ago. We had over 30 contestants. It was amazing. And we know we can get a few more in there. I'll give
Yes,
it
this
about,
was recorded, and Kevin will send the recording to everybody.
yep. Yeah, the recording will be sent to everyone next week. All right, about 10 more seconds. All right. Oh, there's a few more. I'm glad we
And
waited.
yes, we can post to Miami Realtors Live as well.
14. All right. We're getting started. Best of luck to everybody. 16. So just a few more jumping in. All right, we're starting now. Best of luck, players. What app gives you room? Gives you a room for free to try their product? And you select the answers on your phone, everybody. All right. Now we'll see who answered the fastest, and we'll finally see who is in the lead. Rodney and Gio are neck and neck. Best of luck. Here's your next question. What app creates CMAs and market stats? All right, people are paying attention. That's good. Now let's see if our leaders are still in the lead. Oh, we got a brand new leader, everybody. Two new leaders. All right. Very good. Next question. True or false? Cold call auto dialers with an AI caller are a great new sales funnel tool. All right.
Very good. It's false. That is
It
not
is
a safe.
false.
That is not a safe, legal, or compliant way to conduct business.
Right. And then it has to be, they have to outreach you first and reach out to you.
Correct.
Correct, Liz?
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. All right. Next question. Gio, back up top. Two more questions to go. What should you always consider when using AI tools? Do not be trigger happy here. Very
Good
good.
job,
Yeah,
guys.
it was
Good
all
job.
the above. I thought about making them all right, but then I was like, it's not fair because it is also how fast you answer. So this might have thrown some people off. Oh, we got a new leader,
Oh, it's my buddy Steve.
Steve from Oklahoma. All right, can he close it out, Steve? What app is included with every NAR membership? Good. People are paying attention. That probably means Steve was paying attention. Did he answer fast enough? Oh, and he ekes it out.
By one.
Congratulations,
By
Steve.
one.
Congratulations. Any words of wisdom as the winner? You also get words of encouragement if you'd like to use them right here, Steve.
Just remember me for Central Oklahoma referrals.
Great words of advice.
And Liz, you're wonderful. I love seeing your presentation today.
Thanks, Steve. Anytime. Let me know if you want me to do it in the OK. Always happy to do it remotely for brokerage too. So
Wonderful. All right.
And Steve, for you, when you're at the next NAR event and we have a booth, stop by our booth. We'll give you a flamingo for sure for your win.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, we'll
wonderful.
see it. We'll see it mid-year, Steve, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything else, Liz? Or are we done with this today?
I think we're gonna wrap up early in my flight boards in like 15 minutes. So I don't mind giving everyone else back a couple of minutes in their day. Thank you all. If anyone has any questions or has any ideas or sees something new and cool, I'm always interested in new and cool. So Liz at miamire.com. Don't hesitate to contact me. And thank you, Kevin, for having me today.
Yep, always.
And thank you, Connie, for all of your help and dropping in all of those pieces of information. It's super helpful. It makes this a way better class for everybody.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you both. And if you are all about fair housing, April is Fair Housing Month, and we have a class. It's the third annual time we've done it, but it's getting savvy with Section 8. So if you want to learn more about Section 8 or to how to protect yourself when people reach out to you about Section 8, it is actually the perfect class for you. So that'll be later this month. I'll send you all the information when I give you the recording of this class. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm going to be on my laptop.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I have a full purse.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm eating before I leave.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm sneaking out for shopping.
We're YPN leaders.
Of course we're going to be creating content.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm signing up for classes.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm Cafecito obsessed.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm going to crash the next happy hour.
If I'm on my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? If I'm on my way home, yeah. Just step amazing.